Hello, good afternoon. My name is Samad Kasem. Um, I will be presenting to you this afternoon research skills, but my research purpose of topic is as follows. So what I'm talking about this afternoon is the analysis of the transition to a low carbon economy in London, focusing on the road transport system. So why I choose that topic? Transition is simply means a shift. It simply means a shift, and then basically, and then the low carbon economy it simply means how can we live on a low emission. And what brings this topic is basically the issue of climate change and the global warming. So first, I will quickly highlight that transition to a low carbon economy is one of the most urgent and essential challenges facing the world industries globally. But however, if we look into how we are emitting, transportation, industry, domestic, we really need the use of fossil fuel. So the use of fossil fuel is causing a lot of environmental impact. So there was a word I used that says anthropogenic activities. So this simply means that the activities of we humans is the one that is giving us a consequences. Is the one that is causing a lot of environmental impact, causing a climate change. It influences a climate change, it influences a global warming. But based to structure it down now to my topic, analysis of the transition to a low carbon economy in London. But I personally focus on the road transport system. The road transport system, the road transport is one of the major emitters in terms of global emission. But UK as a whole is one of the signatory countries that is part of the Paris Agreement. And this Paris Agreement is basically talking about the how can we curb the emission and to mix the temperatures. So this temperature is basically that the world global temperature is very high. So if there's no curb now, there will be this temperature will go up higher to about 4 degrees or more than that. But now what the Paris Agreement means is a summit that brings all these countries, Europe and some emerging countries together to curb their way of emitting the heat. So they give a target of 2 degrees, but how much more? It is better if we are on 1.5 degrees Celsius. So my objective now, my aim of this research is aimed at analyzing a transition to a low carbon economy in London. So, however, I am focusing on road transport system in general. So, my objective is to examine the major drivers and barriers toward this transition to a low carbon economy, focusing on London road transport. And secondly, is to establish the key strategic approaches, the policies that the government put in place, and the different technologies to promote these initiatives. And the third one is to evaluate the key trade-offs that require the address the different energy policy objective and then alongside the low carbon. But having mentioned that, why did I pick a road transport system itself? So it is part of my research. It shows that the CO2 emission in Greater London itself, transportation is emitting 21%. Domestic is emitting 37%, and the industry is emitting 42%. But however, focusing only on transport system now, so it is ideal that most transportation emission is basically like we have a lot on transport. So now if you have a lot on transport, so out of that 21% emission, it is established again that the particulate matters emission for transports only is 63%. So if it is 63%, now 63%, so based on this figure that I've put in place, the road London government have put a measure. So this is at the heart of London. So the measure now they put in place is to how to mitigate this emission, how to curb it to a very low carbon economy. So there's a lot of policies, there's a lot of regulation behind. So first on my list that I will mention is the deployment of EV into this area, into this transport system, road transport system. Hybrid cars and EV has grown a lot in order to curb this emission. However, there's a lot of policies that are put in place. For example, there's a recent one that they did is ULEZ. It's basically called the Ultra Low Emission Zones. So this one is 24 hours, 7 days. So if your car is emitting a lot, it's not on the standard, you cannot drive 24 hours in the city of London, in the mega city. So all these things is being considered. And however, they also help Londoners to tackle air pollution and climate change. Driving updates a low emission vehicles. Transforming, these are the top measures I'm just trying to say now. Transforming London bus to fleet. The fleet, all the London bus to hybrid and then electric vehicle bus. You can see the Headmaster, the new one they are using now, is emitting very, very low into the atmosphere. But however, the rationale behind this is that this emission is causing a lot to the economy, and it's causing a lot to the public health. So the pollution that is being polluted by transport is directly linked to over 40,000 deaths a year. Additional with some illness and infectious disease that are estimated. And this costs NHS about £6 billion a year. Meanwhile, that's why the government they pledge into this to end any diesel cars and petrol cars by 2040. That in a way to stop or to mitigate this issue. But having mentioned all this, another point to view out is that the current UK road vehicle market, so they deploy a lot of electric vehicles, electric cars, and then and so on and so forth, in order to mitigate this issue, this problem. Now, these are the policies in place, and those are the regulations in place, the one I've mentioned earlier. So, if this is causing AIDS and then a lot of diseases, so this needs to be looked into, and that's why the government have put into this, put a lot of money in order to innovate technologies, new cars, hybrid cars. But my own concern now is that all these EVs, all these electric cars, is being powered by something. Is it fossil fuel? Is it renewable energy? And that is no. So we will still be using this fossil fuel. to power the EV, the electric vehicles. And there's need to a lot of infrastructure in place. And though there's a lot of deployment of charging electric cars and so on and so forth. And and that's it for now that I would say. And then I will say to you that this research is being used by the secondary data from a very reliable sources, and then that's my methodology. So I've used a lot of approaches which I've mentioned in my coursework as well. But this I will not be concluding now, and it will be concluded in the next in my next slide, which talk about the discussion and analysis. If there's any question, I'm very, very welcome to answer on this course. Thank you very much, and bye for now.